Hey everybody, I'm Brad Powell and I have the privilege of pastoring Northridge Church in Michigan. And I just have to share a story with you that dramatically changed my life after I'd been in ministry for 20-some years. In fact, it's a story that I could have never expected, never understood. Started with a phone call. Someone who attended our church at the time called and said, wanted me to do a funeral. And it was kind of a weird call because I don't do funerals, but then he told me the story. His brother-in-law, young guy, 3 young children, experiencing trouble in his marriage, had been murdered along with his 3 children and his mother, who was caring for the kids at the time. That got my attention. But the real drama in this story, as it related to how it changed me, came next. His brother-in-law said that because of the challenges in his marriage and because of having to care for these kids and because this guy was searching for answers and searching for hope and had none, that he had invited him to Northridge Church. Though he had grown up religious, he had never experienced the impacting power of a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so he started coming here and he engaged the ministry here. In fact, the person on the phone call to me said, I know the chair he was in your auditorium where he trusted Christ for the first time. And I can tell you that each one of his 3 children trusted Christ at Northridge. They're in heaven today. Though tragic their death was, they're in heaven today because they had been here. It ruined me. It wrecked me. As a result, I started looking back to see if there was any record of this guy, and there was. We had just done a survey in our church, and I got his survey card out. He'd only been attending for a short time, and he went through and told his story, and on the back of it he said, I need to know how to keep faith in those that I love. I need to know how I can keep faith in those who failed me. I need to know how I can still love people after they failed me so badly. And then he thanked me for making God real to him for the first time in his life. This document right here was filled out, was written on, was held, was handed in by a guy who 1 month later would have no more opportunities, 1 month later wouldn't be able to hear God's truth, wouldn't be able to trust Christ, wouldn't be able to find redemption. As a result, everything about my ministry was reshaped. Because you see, I was going through typical ministry stuff. I was putting together talks, I was leading my team, we were saying the right words, we were singing the right songs, but I wasn't living each day in light of this game-changing principle. Eternity is always on the line. When I stood on the platform that weekend and gave the talk, though I cared about the truth and I was delivering the truth and people were being impacted by the truth, I didn't in my heart of hearts believe that anyone in that auditorium was hearing God's truth for the very last time. That there was a young family that wouldn't be on the planet in that next week. That moment changed me. Eternity is on the line. This thing that we're doing as Christians, as believers, as Christ followers, this thing we're doing as pastors and spiritual leaders and teachers is not a game. After this moment in time, I literally put this card up in front of my desk and kept it there so that every time I was writing a talk, I wasn't trying to write a talk that was better than the next guy or better than my last one. I was trying to write a talk that engaged God's Word in a way that could change a person's life who was desperately needing God in that moment, who might not be here in the next. Jesus left heaven to seek and to save that which was lost, not because it made a great story, but because eternity was on the line. And now we are his representatives. We're his ambassadors here. When I lead the staff and we make staff decisions these days, it's based upon eternity being on the line, not what will make us cool or put us on some list. And as a believer, a simple believer, I have to remember with my neighbors and with my friends and with my family, each moment may be the last moment I ever have. Now that's not a cliche anymore for me because I received a phone call where it brought it to living reality for me and for our church family. Someone in your life right now has eternity on the line. You might never know it, you might never meet them, but you can make the difference between heaven and hell, quite frankly, between light and darkness, between hope and hopelessness, between healing or remaining broken. I believe in my soul of souls, never really understood, and I believe that I had gotten to the place where each moment of each day, I wasn't praying as if eternity was on the line. I wasn't teaching as if eternity was on the line, and I wasn't leading as if eternity's on the line. Your ministry will change, your life will change, your leadership will change, and your teaching will change when you remember eternity's on the line. Though God used this man to dramatically change my life, I never had the privilege of meeting him. But by God's grace, one day I will. The people you're speaking to, the people you're impacting, you might never know they're there. The question is, will you be the one who plays the game changer in their life?